it's Don here from the board. Thanks for coming along and checking out this video. In this video, we're going to be having a look at the Everglide switches. So let's head on down to the desktop. Rightio. So thank you very much to Mitenolet for sending me these switches. Everglides.
There's pink.
Yes, I know you love pink. So, Everglide switches. They're relatively kind of newish to the Switch space, and they have been offered on drop. So I think these may have come from drop or potentially one of the other Chinese vendor sites like KP Republic or KBD Fans, one of those. So I'm going to show you what the details of those are at the moment. So there you go. There is the drop listing for Everglide switches. We've got amber orange, coral red, jade green, and sakura pink. And we can see that it's linear, tactile, linear, and linear. 35, 45, 50, and 45. So that's what we are going to be expecting. There's no clickies in this. And let's check it out. So they also came in a nice 10mm thick sort of acrylic switch testing block right there. So let's just switch the, there we go. So there's the actual block and there's the 4 switches. So we've got, what do they call it? Amber orange. We've got jade green. Sorry, there's the amber orange, coral red, jade green, and sakura pink. Let me just see if I can arrange them in a way that makes sense for what we're doing. So, what are you doing, Ariete? Getting cranky? Okay, so let's just pull them all out, and then let's arrange them in a fashion that works to the order that we want to talk about them in. So, sakura pink first, into the corner, jade greens next, then coral red, and then amber orange. Alright, so that just makes it a little bit easier. Okay, so sakura pinks, linear 35 grams, initial 45 actuation force, very light. 35 grams is kind of in the Gateron yellow space. Sorry, not Gateron yellow, the Gateron clears kind of space. And if I go side by side, yep, they're very similar in that spring weight. Yellows are a little bit firmer. In terms of the smoothness on Everglide switches, they're pretty smooth. There is a little bit of a feel about it, but can we not use that, please? That's for pulling keycaps, thank you. So there's actually a bit of wobble happening on this. Yeah, you can kind of see that there's distinct wobble happening there. Wobble, yeah. So it's got a reasonable amount of wobble to that. They're not too bad. They don't feel too bad at all. Now we go on to the jade green. Now this is where we start to get very confusing because jades are starting to become a common popular color reference. So we've got box jades, we've got these jade greens, and then there's the Kale Ancient China series that's got the jade in it as well. So, but they're all meaning different things, right? Because they're linears, they're tactiles, they're clickies. So yeah, maybe people should start using different colors to distinguish them a bit better. Now, this is a tactile 45. It's actually pretty smooth and it's got a decent sort of upstroke sound. So they're not dampened or anything of that nature. They're actually lighter than, say, a standard sort of brown switch. They're decently smooth. They're not scratchy at all. And in terms of the wobble, it's actually not too bad. I think it's just because with the 10 grams firmer spring, it's holding the stem against the housing a lot better compared to the lighter switches, which is to be expected. Now, if we move back onto the coral red, which is a 50 gram initial 67 actuation, it's also linear. So I would expect these to be, they're okay for a stock switch. Harrietty. Daddy's trying to talk. If you're going to stay up here, you need to be a little bit quieter, okay? Now, they have a... they're not gritty, but you can definitely feel they're not as smooth compared to some of their counterparts to it. Like, this box black is quite smooth by comparison to this Everglide. There is a bit of friction force there. But I think if you went and lubed it, it would probably be just fine. It's not grinding or anything of that nature. In terms of the wobble, it's very similar to the Jade. I think just having that heavier spring really helps it stay in place and not wobble too much. Now, this last one, which is the Amber Orange, it's linear, 45 grams with 58 gram actuation. So it sits actually below this Coral Red switch. It's actually probably the smoothest out of all of them. It's quite pleasant. It's heavier than the red switch, but not as heavy as the black switch. Yeah, so it's kind of sitting in between that reference point. So for sound, not very much to it. That's the Tactile and the Jade Green. The Amber Orange, Coral Red. You know, the upstroke is producing a very, very small amount of sound. And the Sakura Pink. Not much at all. And the colors are quite pretty. It's a very pink, very pastel color. It's a very dense green, but not as dark compared to some of the others. So in terms of the jade color, you certainly wouldn't mistake it for another switch. The Coral Red and the Amber Orange are also very different colors, although it's kind of close to the burnt orange that we've got over here. Burnt orange. But I don't think you would be mistaking them against too many other switches at the moment in terms of its color palette. So price wise, I don't know how much these were going for because, well, the drop on that's done, but I think they're not too bad. Quality wise, they feel okay. You know, it's pretty standard sort of footprint and whatnot. I guess, you know, like all of these Switch reviews, it's very subjective. It's very subjective. I'm going to say that these aren't the smoothest of switches, but they're definitely not scratchy. And the tactility on this Jade is about, you know, it's kind of a box switch, not box switch, a brown switch level. Also not super tactile. I would actually say that, though, this Jade Green is more tactile than, say, an Alias switch, which I've just recently reviewed as well. Hey, you. Daddy's not going to let you sit on his lap while he does these if you're going to continue to be like that, okay? Alrighty. Well, thank you very much again to Mitenolet for sending me these switches to review. Really appreciate it. Very similar to Alias switches, they're very much a meh kind of thing. The housing supports LEDs but not SMDs because they've got they've got the holes for the LEDs to go through that you can kind of just see there, but they don't have a cutout on the bottom to support SMD switches. So short of you trying to melt a hole in them, they're no good for SMDs. The only reason why I'd probably get more of them is if they were available very cheap, just to add to the Switch library collection. Okie dokie. Well, thank you very much for coming along and checking out this video. Please, of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell button to get notifications of all of our new videos. Wait, what are we waiting for? Yeah. Alrighty. Well, thank you for coming along and checking out the video. And of course, as always, until next time, happy clacking.